Little inspiration. All right, guys. Hi, my name's Rob, and I am an alcoholic, grateful in recovery. Today's day 671. So right around the corner, June 23rd, I'll be celebrating my 2 year, and I expect to see all of you people here and then some. I want to pack, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like the NBA Finals. I got that. It's like the Super Bowl. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, well, to describe how I was before, during my drinking career, it was just, at first everything started off good. You know, I was just your kid, you know, who was just naturally curious, you know what I mean? I've always been someone who was just active, whether I was playing sports or just like, I was just always outside, you know, I had to keep my body in motion. And I was diagnosed with ADD, so it was just like, you know, whatever. I was always outside, always just running around. So when I first started drinking, everything was fine, you know, the partying and females, you know, it's just the average, good time that you have when you first started off. Like everything else, it starts off good and then it doesn't. I think by the time I turned 28, I'm 43 now. So the time I turned 28, that's when my problem just really started to drastically just increase to being so good to being so bad. I was just basically, me and my few buddies, we decided that we were gonna just form a little crew, and basically what we would do is just rob people. And it's a brilliant idea. And that was just our thing. We just get drunk and just, you know, go to, you know, just stop just randomly just robbing people, hobbies, you know. And I was just so deep and depth into my addiction that I just really didn't much care about anything. I was to describe myself back then, I was just extremely instinctive, you know, not giving much thought into anything. How I felt, I just went with it. Whether it was logical, whether it was illogical, all of that just didn't apply. I found myself in a lot of predicaments where obviously I was facing a lot of time constantly, you know, in and out of jail, doing bits here, doing like, 1 year here, 6 months here, everything counting, you know. So once I got out of jail, it was just right back to the liquor store, and the cycle just continued. My father passed away when I was 14 years old from cancer. He drank moderately, but since he was a child, he was diagnosed with a liver problem. So just finally, unfortunately, it just caught up to him, and he passed away from liver cancer. And I think from there, you know, I just really just lost whole lot of focus. You know, I was just started prioritizing my life towards just partying and bullshit, basically. So I was constantly getting into fights, constantly doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was just very I was extremely misguided, and most importantly, I was delusional as fuck. Excuse me, that's one? All right, cool. Right, there you go. So it's just that I really, you know, I really didn't care much about anything or pretty much anyone. I would disrespect anybody, including my own mother. I put that woman through a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff that she should never have to endure, especially once I reach a certain age that I'm pretty much of an adult. So, you know, but she stuck by me through it all. So, you know, me stopping drinking just didn't occur overnight. It was accumulation of what I call a body of work, you know? You know how some athletes or some celebrities or whatever, they get celebrated for their body of work? Well, my body of work was just getting fucked up. Excuse me, that's two. It was getting extremely intoxicated and acting like a fool. You know what I mean? My record actually accumulated to about 18 pages, you know? And I felt cheated because it's like, how come I don't have 20? But no, and seriously, and it's sad because that was just pretty much the mentality. And I think Well, after I got stabbed again, I I posted up a picture of my wounds, and a friend from high school reached out to me. He's a very popular guy. He's all over TV and stuff like that. I call him the TV guy. His father is a sponsor, and and after like having a long conversation with him, I really, that just pretty much planted the seed right there to stop drinking. But it didn't happen right away. I still had a few notches under my belt. And finally, to make a long story short, I picked up the phone and I met up with my sponsor, who's my sponsor now, and I've been off and running ever since. To describe how I was before, I was just a very, very nasty person. At first, I was a very charming guy, you know what I mean? Type of guy you invite over to dinner. Then I became the guy that you just don't want to be around. It was very negative, very just everything was just like, doom and gloom, pessimistic. I just hated myself, and pretty much anybody that didn't agree with me, which was like 99% of people, because my whole mentality was just warped, extremely warped, and extremely dangerous too. I just realized that, after all these years of basically not accomplishing much, or just having jobs here and there, not staying focused on anything specific, just constantly just going with the wind, and I just got sick of it, man. It's self-inventory, right? Look at yourself in the mirror. You break yourself down only to build yourself up, and you ask yourself the following questions: are you proud of yourself? Have you done anything that would make your late father proud and stuff like that? And all the answers was just no, 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 no. And I came to a conclusion that not only that I'm an alcoholic, but it's just that I have a lot of unaddressed, unresolved mental issues that I haven't confronted until obviously 671 days ago. And everything's gradual, the process, because I didn't get to where I got to overnight, so I'm not gonna, change overnight. But I'll tell you this though, these past 671 days, one thing I have changed is not walking into that liquor store and purchasing any alcohol content whatsoever. And it's kind of funny because when my girlfriend, when she goes to the liquor store and stuff like that, I've been in there a couple of times, but she perfectly understands it. You know what I mean? I just, like right now, I actually recently just had a party at Easter, and the refrigerator was filled with alcohol. Didn't bother me one bit, because I'm just like, you know what, man? I've had so much fun in my life. I'm going to be boring now. I'm going to be the guy that doesn't drink. And a lot of people are, and believe it or not, a lot of people are surprised still to this day that I don't drink anymore. Because let's face it, I'm still kind of a bit of a a-hole. See, that's not 3. Yeah. So it's just that, but it's the gradual process. It's the grind of changing. It's coming to halls like this. I went to probably, let's say, my first 90 days, I went over 270 meetings. So I was going to 3 meetings a day. I attacked this recovery thing just like I used to attack a drink. Just like I used to come up with every single excuse to drink. Now I come up with every excuse not to. And everything that I'm saying didn't occur overnight. But these past 671 days, I've been building a strong body of work. So how I was before, I was just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I was disrespectful. I disregarded people. I mean, people's feelings really didn't mean nothing. The only feelings that matter were mine. So I became extremely self-centered, and extremely selfish. I've hurt a lot of people. Sometimes it was intentionally, sometimes it wasn't. but it's like the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. You know, so I was extremely hurt, you know, extremely upset. And primarily it was at myself, you know. The pointing fingers thing, the making excuses thing, I was the master of that, you know. And finally, you know, after I caught my last case in 2022, I said to myself, this is the last case. It started with me just saying, this is the last case I'm going to catch, you know. And I just worked my way up from there. And it took a couple incidences that nearly cost me my life to finally come to the conclusion, the obvious conclusion, that not only so much I am an alcoholic, but, you know, I'm a little loopy upstairs, you know. So I just took the steps, you know what I mean? I've been to many step meetings, been to all types of other types of meetings and stuff like that. And not that so much was like, oh, it was just one specific speaker that spoke to me and just woke my, no, it's just the body of work. It was just because constantly coming here every day, you know. And I found a home here, specifically here. And I was quiet as a mouse when I first got here. And one thing I adore about these halls is the people in it. Because I'm nothing without the people in it. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. I can't just sit up here and think that, oh yeah, I'm doing this all by myself. It's like, no, I'm not doing this all by myself. I do have a solid foundation. You know, and it does start with my higher power. It does start with my mom. It does start, you know, with the people in these walls and the stories that I've heard and the life that was lost here. And I forgot her name. What's the young lady's name? She worked for the MBTA. What was her name, John? Jane? Oh my God. Jane? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. People like her who inspired me. She was such a sweet lady, you know, and it's just, but, you know, this disease is designed to do one thing. It's just to kill you, man. You know, it just wants your life, literally, you know, it wants to take you right complete out of here. And I just, you know, I'm always been a very competitive person, even competitive in stupidity. So it's just like, I figured that it's like, oh, okay, well, if I take all that energy that I have to the stupid stuff and apply it to things that will actually benefit my life, I want to be all right. Progress, not perfection. Believe me, man, this is not easy. I'm 43 years old. I'll be 44 in August. You know, it took me 41 years just to realize that, yeah, you have a problem, kiddo. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that I've been able to be alive long enough, and God has granted me the grace to keep my stupid ass alive long enough, you know, to make a drastic change. And change is never easy. It never is. It's not supposed to be easy, because if it was easy, just like podcasts, everybody be doing it, you know? So, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to my foundation, to my higher power. And yeah, the person that I was before is not the person that I am now. And I only credit that to you guys, really, because you guys inspire me all the time, man. It's always like I have a philosophy. It's called it's each one teach one. And we all learn from each other, and we all pull from each other. Because without each other, we will fail. I know I will, you know. The only time I don't come to meetings now is because I'm just working. So my recovery is my number one priority. You know, it comes before everything, because without that, I have nothing. You know, I've gained so much trust. You know what I mean? I've got my license back for the first time in 17 years. I got it back in 2023. I haven't had my license in 17 friggin' years. So, so it's just a testament to this program, you know, and it works. And I'm currently working now at Dana-Farber in the Cancer Institute doing janitorial work. But all of that wouldn't be possible if I didn't put in the time and the work, and most importantly, if you guys didn't put in the time and the work. Because believe it or not, you guys help me constantly, every day, you know. And I hate when I was working at Dunkin' Donuts. I hated the fact I was scheduled where I was scheduled, but it was the only shift available because that meant that I couldn't be here. You know, so this you guys have become so valuable and so vital to my life, and I can't thank you enough. I mean, me and Joe, same class, 2023. I remember seeing Joe. He was so quiet, and we both were, you know. And now look at us. We can't shut up, you know. Every time you turn around, right? Every time you turn around, it's just like either he's hosting or I'm hosting. And it's just like it's too much. The quietest guys in the meeting are now the most talkative. Isn't that some stuff? It's amazing, the testament to this program. And I do, and believe me, I feel for those who've lost family members and loved ones to this disease. You know, it's tough. It's tough. And my message is basically that there is hope. There is, you know what I'm saying? There is light at the end of the tunnel, you know? And I know things are, you know, doom and gloom, and not everybody's gonna, I mean, look, this is life, man. And not everything's gonna be all sunshine and rainbows, man, you know? But if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to just let go and let God, I can't promise you that you'll be a billionaire or none of that, but you won't be where you used to be. And that's my whole thing. It's like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And that's a beautiful thing. On that note, I'm just going to shut up. You know? No problem.